brought to the fore during the meeting of the Tripartite Commission held in Morwa, attended by Governor Babagana Umara. The meeting of the Tripartite Commission, comprising the Cameroonian authorities, representative of the federal government, and UNHCR, as well as Governor Babagana Umara, was hosted by Cameroonian Minister for Territorial Administration Paul Atanga to discuss modalities for voluntary repatriation, which is designed to commence with 5,000 returnees in the first phase of the exercise, billed to commence on the 27th February to 7th March 2021. The 11-point communique issued at the end of the meeting include implementation of the action plan covering the period from February 2021 for the voluntary repatriation of Nigerian refugees at Minawao camp, sensitization and information sharing to all refugees on condition in places of intended return, including services and assistance.
Accorded to all of us, and we have seen the level of enthusiasm and commitment on the part of the Cameroonians in ensuring the endorsement of the resolutions of the technical working group with respect to the repatriation of Nigerians to their home country.
Now it went to
the federal government of Nigeria and the government of Borno State. I wish to sincerely convey our deep appreciation to the government of Cameroon under the distinguished leadership of President Paul Biya for the enormous support it has been rendering towards uplifting the standard of living of the displaced communities of Borno State taking refuge in the Minao camp. We remain eternally grateful to the government and people of Cameroon, and that shows the spirit of brotherhood, togetherness. We are overwhelmed, and we are conveying back this message to the President of the Republic of Nigeria, President Buhari, the gesture that has so far been done to our people. Thank you very much.
Mr. Governor.
Because the insurgency has taken an international dimension. Because of its international dimension, the four countries have to work under the Lecture Basin Commission to fight these dreaded insurgents, with a view to freeing the region of all terrorists that are here to impact negatively on the socio-economic well-being of our citizens. And therefore, Nigeria alone cannot fight the insurgents, Cameroonian alone cannot fight, Nigerian alone cannot fight, neither no Chadian alone will fight the insurgents. There's a need for us to come together collectively, decisively, willingly to fight the insurgents with a view to freeing our nation. Otherwise, the insurgents will definitely take over the entire region. Indeed, the subnational governments are all very much ready to receive our refugees back home. Nigeria is a nation. It's a member nation of the United Nations. And we are all together working in ensuring the provision of security to our people. And therefore, the government of Nigeria and indeed the subnational government have done everything possible to ensure safe return of our refugees in a dignified manner. So far, so good. We have put in place necessary machineries especially in terms of accommodation, provision of basic amenities, water, health facilities, and education is key, and government has provided it with a view to returning back our people to our own country. So we are very much ready. I'm so happy that you are confirming to the UNHCR what has happened about 2 years ago. When we came last time, the people unanimously echoed that they want to go back home. They don't need food, they don't need shelter from the government of Borno State. I went back with a promise to them that government will do everything possible to facilitate their return. And that entails that the return process is voluntary. And we are here today to ensure the repatriation exercise, to kickstart the repatriation exercise. Government of Borno State, and indeed the government of Nigeria in general, has agreed to return all refugees, Nigerian refugees that are staying in Cameroon. What we are saying now is that we have so far so good profile about 751 heads of household with a total population of about 5,000 returnees to be returned in the first phase of the return exercise, while the tripartite commission communique has clearly indicated that the second phase, subsequent phases of the repatriation exercise will commence immediately after all necessary measures have been taken place in terms of providing accommodation, security, shelter, education, and others that will ensure return of the internally displaced persons to their homes, to their original homes in a dignified manner. So we are working together, we have started, and it is a good tidings to the people of Nigeria living in living in Cameroon, that we are starting the process. That means we shall start and ensure completion of the entire repatriation of the whole people of Nigeria and Cameroon within the shortest possible time, in collaboration with the government of Cameroon and UNHCR.
During an interface with the delegation from the Tripartite Commission and the refugees at Minawao camp, Governor Babagana Umara had, on behalf of the federal government and Borno state authorities, thanked the Cameroonian government for hosting the refugees of Borno extraction in the last 6 years, assuring that stakeholders involved in the Tripartite Commission will ensure speedy repatriation of the refugees in a dignified manner.
Join day, God and day, when I can answer day, when they do one for the body at Tabas. The absolute time, couple of kind of Sokolia Basha. How are the grass? To we are Kulimunzanane, Dagapolgo Muganku, Pusha Hala, Seakuli, Wanamasipa, the other Gala. Kuma sai Allah ne da ya yi wannan masifa. Mun zo mun gama yarjejeniya na cewa za mu fara mai da gudarin ku. Insha Allah a ranar 27 ga wannan wata Fabrairu ko kuma zuwa sati ɗaya na wannan March za mu fara mai muku kasan ku. Abinda zan gaya muku a yi hakuri. Ranar da mun zo ba zai yi mutanen kamp wannan mu mai da su a rana ɗaya ba. Muna da niyya babbar ko ina ba, banki ne kake, kana fulka ne, kana liman kara ne, kana cikin goda ne, a shiga sha ne, kana ranne ko ina kake. Local government 27 na Borno wannan ba za mu bar ko ina ba. Amma abin da muke so mu idan muna so mu bude kofar da dawo mai muku. In mun bude kofar dama ba tilasta ba ne ku ne kuke so sauran ko ba mu yi magana ba kuma za mu koma. Amma insha Allah ba za mu kuma duk wanda zai koma muna so mu tabbatar cewa ya koma da martabar shi, da dabbobinku, da abincinku, da yaranku, hanyar da za ku je ku yi makaranta. Kun yi shekara 6 nan ba za mu so ku koma gida ba daɗi ba. Shi ne ya ɗauki lokaci muna so mu samu wannan dama mu gode a gwamnatin Cameroon yadda suka riko mu gode a gwamnan na nan Kwame Mijiyawa UNHCR da jami'an tsaro na nan da yadda suka kula da mu wanda suna nan garin suna nan kasan farin kuna wanda kuka gana da su kuma Allah ya bada lada abu ɗaya ne muna roƙon ku wallahi tallahi ba za mu bar ku ba ku yi hakuri ku yi himma ku sanna in an dawo duk wanda za ka yi za a bada suna ba za mu bar ko mutum duk wanda zai koma nan ba za mu bar shi ba in ya koma gida za mu tallafa mishi wani abu a hannun shi ya ci abinci kuma ya zanna shi ya sa in mutum zai koma banki ne to mutane mu suna nan a amci ne za su siya a karbe shi in mutum zai koma fulka ne za mu fara lokacin da zai koma za mu aje duk wanda zai zo za mu sa rijista za mu taimako shi duk mutane duk wanda ta kwasa wani ba wanda za mu bari amma duk wanda ya gaya muku cewa duk mutanen Borno nan za a dauke su mutanen Najeriya za a dauke su a kwana daya to wallahi mutum ya yi karya amma insha Allah cikin watanni kalilan za mu bayar da to muna gode muku.
Cameroonian Minister of Territorial Administration Paul Atanga said both President Buhari and Paul Biya insisted that international laws and procedures as well as convention should be adhered to in the process of repatriation.
Good briefing on the activities that we have carried out today and what the technical team has been doing. So at the end of when we will go and render public the final communique, we would have laid down all the legal instruments and the practical modalities for the departure of at least 5,000 refugees who are going back, and you can see the enthusiasm, the joy, the happiness in their faces. You see, going back home is always a dream, and thanks to the work of the government of Cameroon, Nigeria, and HCR, this dream will come true in the next few weeks as for those who will be traveling. So once again, we want to thank you for your attention, and I will ask you to carefully take the minutes of the final communique, which will lay down the practical modalities of this very, very important exercise. But as I said earlier, President Paul Biya and President Muhammadu Buhari have insisted that we have to respect the international convention, which will commence the voluntary return of the citizens who are here. So I think that as we are going back, there is place for hope and there's place for joy as for the 5,000 who will be in the first list. But it's an ongoing process. Even though we have 5,000 who have registered to go, the process will continue, and after some time we'll give more information as to those who will be leaving after the first batch. So once again, we thank you for your kind attention. We don't have much time. We are leaving shortly to go back so that we can finalize the document of the final communique and make it public.
During the deliberation, Nigerian delegation raised a wide range of issues, especially challenges with regards to delay in the repatriation process. Borno State government is to partner with Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) to ensure speedy restoration of electricity to Maiduguri and Imbaro. Governor Babagana Umara disclosed this during his visit to the site of vandalization of electricity tower along Maiduguri Damaturu Road. It's been almost 3 weeks now. Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, and environs have been in total darkness due to vandalization of electricity tower. The visit by Governor Bagana Umara to the site was to support the TCN workers to fast track in the restoration of electricity to Maiduguri.
It's very disheartening to note that energy distribution line was vandalized a few days ago. Maiduguri is in darkness for the last 20 days. We have seen the level of this devastation. It's very unfortunate. They have blown up the towers using IEDs, the bombs. So we are here to see things for ourselves. God willing, we shall do everything possible to fast track the process of rehabilitating the damaged structures. Now the officials are here working to ensure creation of temporary measures in such a way that Maiduguri will be connected very soon, while the permanent solution will take a longer time. So far so good. I have seen the work of the agency. They are doing very well, and we shall support them to ensure that the work is being completed within the shortest possible time. So people of Maiduguri and in environs have to be patient for a while. Government at the national level as well as at the sub-national level will do everything possible to ensure that the rehabilitation work is done within the shortest possible time.
We divert the line temporarily to allow the contractor to have a full-time completion so that we don't rush and at the end the tower failure. We have brought in I want to thank the NCDC.
We have 45.
Yeah, I know we have force, but it wasn't well. It's not 4 meters.
Okay, I think provide all necessary assistance to ensure speedy completion of your work. Thank you very much.
I want to thank you because
So the temporary measures
with our plan, our work plan, we have a minimum of 7, maximum of 10.
you started with.
The governor was also at Fori Bama Road bypass, an adjoining community between Moruganari and Damboa Road, to assess building and structures constructed on waterways around Maiduguri metropolis as part of efforts to address challenges of perennial flooding affecting many parts of the state capital, particularly in the rainy season. During the visit, he directed the State Geographic Information Service to make thorough assessment and demolish all structures built on waterways. It will be recalled that the governor had set up a committee in 2019 to find lasting solutions to the challenges. Though the committee had issued eviction notice to the affected structures, most of them defied and continued construction on waterways. Borno state government has appealed to the TED Fund to extend more support to tertiary institutions in Borno. The call was made by Governor Bagana Umara during a courtesy visit by the executive chairman of TED Fund, Kashim Imam, at the government house, Maiduguri. Governor Wagana Umara, who was once a lecturer and polytechnic rector, noted the tremendous support of the TED Fund to tertiary institutions in the state. The governor, who appreciated the fund for the high impact allocation to the tune of 3 billion naira given to Borno State University, which he said was set aside for the ongoing construction of teaching hospital and medical college, also requested the fund to provide furniture and equipment to the School of Medical Science and the teaching hospital, as well as intervene in establishment of faculties of engineering and environmental science.
There is the need for us to understand two critical issues. One is that of the mismatch between our educational institutions and the industries. And then two is the issue of the mismatch between our graduates and the labor market. These two phenomena are a worrisome. And therefore, I want the Tertiary Education Trust Fund under your distinguished leadership, Chairman and members, to look into the possibility of bridging these two important gaps. What matters is not about the provision of infrastructure. Even if you have the infrastructure, if the learning and teaching environment, equipments are not available in our workshops and laboratories, I don't think we can meet the objectives of establishing universities in the state, in the country. And therefore, I want the Tertiary Education Trust Fund to give more emphasis into institutional material and equipment development. Because I can understand for the last, I think since establishment to date in 1990 to date, more emphasis has been given more to infrastructure. They call it 70-30 ratio. 70 is for infrastructure, 30 is for funding, is for equipment. I'm not saying the infrastructures are bad, they're very important. But I think if there is a need for you to include some certain degree of flexibility in your own arrangements, depending on the need of various institutions.
Professor Zulum advised the fund to invest more on provision of equipment and human capital development, as well as carry the institutions along when citing projects. Chairman of TED Fund, Kashim Imam, said TED Fund officials were in the state to assess ongoing projects and interface with authorities of the tertiary institutions to know areas where they need intervention.
In 10 years, we have more than 10,000 projects across 226 tertiary institutions comprising of federal and state universities, federal and state polytechnics, federal and state college of education. We have either completed or ongoing more than 10,000 projects. In most of the older universities, we have projects in excess of 100 projects. I'm happy to report this morning that everywhere that we've gone to, the common word that we hear is hotel fund, hotel fund, hotel fund. That is very gratifying. Our mission to the state is to see things for ourselves. Is it true that we've been impacting positively? It's also to afford us the opportunity, in addition to inspecting projects, to interact with the management of the various institutions, to, as they say, to hear from the horse's mouth. What more can we do? What are their expectations? What do they expect from TED Fund more? Apart from regular areas of intervention, which covers particularly the provision of infrastructure, i.e. auditoriums, conference halls, lecture theaters, science laboratories, the sponsorship of lecturers for master's and postgraduate studies, research, publications. I can go on and on. Since last year, after I assumed duties, we introduced 4 critical areas that we said we needed to focus on. The first of these is to roll out the necessary infrastructure that will facilitate e-learning across our university campuses. We have initiated this in the University of Abuja, in the nation's capital. We've laid 20 kilometers of fiber optics. We are also constructing a state-of-the-art innovation center that will comprise of incubation centers, an e-library, e-classrooms, and a host of other facilities.
The fund's chairman, who gave an overview of what TED Fund has been doing, also informed that Nigeria Open University Learning Centers will be established in Lassa and Dikwa communities in the state. That's all we have in this edition of Government House Diary. But make a date with us same time next week for yet another edition of the program. Until then, thanks for watching. Good night.